All right, traders, good afternoon. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group, and it is Thursday, October 29th. So a little bit later video today because we did open up the trading room and go over all these earnings reports that came out. So let me just give you a quick run through of some observations and some things for the day. First of all, let's go over the performance for the day. Pretty, nice bounce. I don't want to say strong, even though the breadth was positive today. There's definitely more sectors that did better versus the ones that did weaker for the day. But we really just don't know if we're kind of out of the woods, right? In terms of what where the VIX is now. It's a 36. It's much different than where we were a week ago. So I think until we kind of get through another week of all the things that everybody knows about, we know that this is a very event-filled week, and next week we have the election. So do I think that there's some buying opportunities, that are starting to materialize? Yes, I do. But I do think these earnings results are pretty interesting for a couple different reasons. So let me just finish with the performance really quickly. What was interesting today was Nasdaq did very well today, up 1.75%. So that is a healthy bounce from yesterday. No doubt about it. Small caps actually did pretty well today. They actually rallied the most intraday. The bonds, right? We did notice that the bonds, were not showing any major strength yesterday. I think they finished close to flat yesterday. And then the VIX came off, about 6.7%. Look at the areas that did very well today. Maybe, probably a little bit different than what you thought was going to do well today. The energy stocks actually finished the day better than amongst the leaders of the day. That was not how they were looking in the morning. But look at the XLE, rallied 4.4% for the day. XOP 4.3%. Metals and mining. So more value really took off here at the end of the day. Look at the banks were up. So this market continues to kind of be a little bit different. S&P, you can see NASDAQ is selling off, obviously, on these results. S&P has kind of come back and given back all the gains as well in the after-hours market with all these earnings reports. So we're basically back to where we started for the day. They've given this whole move back. So why don't we go over some earnings really quickly? We'll start with one of the first big ones that came out, Amazon. I kind of thought that this is what was going to happen for Amazon. We spent, if you're not a member of Tribeca Trade Group, we spent about 45 minutes going over earnings today at 1 o'clock, and I put all the trades that I did. The reason why I traded an iron condor for Amazon, I sold a call spread, sold a put spread, was because Amazon is just not one of the better names to report earnings. It's not consistent. It's a little bit wishy-washy. So my trade that I did for Amazon is here. Again, selling premium, right? I sold the October 3100, 3090 call spread, so I'm collecting 250 on this. I also sold. Sorry, that is that's the put spread. Sorry, I don't have that labeled correctly in there. I think I'm okay on this one for where we are right now. And then I sold this call spread real far out of the money. I just thought that with these earnings results, especially with Amazon, that for some reason this market is just looking for any reason, like anything in the metrics, to bring these stocks down. So I'll give you my opinion on that. Facebook, once again, is having Facebook had great numbers. The only thing that I read in the quick read-through of the results was that that they're not providing guidance. Right? They're saying that there's uncertainty in the future. Who doesn't know that? But look at these numbers for Facebook. Very, very strong. But it cannot get over this 284 level. Right? We talked about this earlier. So far, we'll see if something comes out on the earnings call. My thoughts on some of these that are having difficulty rallying. It could be that just investors are looking for excuses to sell. I don't know if it's because of regulatory issues, right? That people are just, they're long these names, and maybe perhaps that people are just looking for excuses to sell. I don't know. The other thing is we've seen a number of beats, right, through the last few quarters, and either some of these names have rallied a little bit too far. But I think you kind of have to respect the price action, right? I've spent a lot of time talking about this the last couple days, that the results are not important. Well, they are important, but really what the price action, that's what's important, right? Many of these results that are coming out are what the company did last quarter. So really what investors, traders are looking for is what they're going to do next quarter. And by the looks of it, a couple of these names I didn't get to Google. That one looks great, by the way, which is not one that I played today, of course. The ones that I played were I did put on an Apple trade, which I managed to actually take a target on it before the close. So that'll be good. In hindsight, that I did take that trade, but I did put on a Facebook trade as well. Twitter also reported. Twitter, what can you say about Twitter? Twitter usually does this, right? They're just not a good company on earnings. So very much in my analysis, and this is what we went over earlier, is what a name does, what the pattern does, and you could see the most important thing. All this stuff here, while yes, it is important for fundamental analysts, but really price. That's the most important thing. And Twitter is very, very inconsistent on earnings. All right, so there's a couple other names, like a couple other names are really getting beaten up. I read something from Bloomberg the other day saying that if a company misses, they are getting beaten up much more than they usually do, which is different. I agree with that. I don't think some of these names like Activision, Starbucks is down, CVNA is down but coming back, apps which beat, having difficulty moving higher. I think I went over Starbucks. One that bucked the trend is this 5.9 is up, but I'll tell you, it's very difficult to find the one or two out of the majority that seem to be moving down here in the from what I've seen this week. The ones that have beaten, like the Snap and the Pinterest, have done really well, but I think those are kind of the outliers that we're seeing so far. All right, guys. Not much more to really say about today. It just gave a lot of good short-term trading opportunities, for the most part. And I think you really want to be nimble. You could see some of the things. I didn't stay long in trades, right? I put on some Square yesterday. I got out of Square in the first 15 minutes, right? I mean, look at what this thing did the rest of the day. Nothing. Right? So for now, selling on the open, PDD was a name that I sold. I got 97, and that's it. And I think right now, this is the way to trade. I got out of my now spread, my earnings trade. That did very well. Neo, that's a name that I've been in. I actually added to it. And I took some profits. Again, I think you want to be very nimble right now. 31.9. Wow, this thing went up above 32. So I only have 10% of my position left. I got out of this name that I started, that I got into last Friday. But yeah, that's it. I think that this market is giving us trading opportunities, but this is not a market to be greedy in right now. It's to be quick. If you got some really nice profits on the open, take them for now, right? Until we get to end of earnings season, end of the election. and so on and so forth. There was a note out. I think it was by Morgan Stanley, saying if there's a contested election, which is what everybody fears, that the market could go down like 10% or something like that. So that note is out there. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Morgan Stanley put that out there, and that's why there's some of this fear in the one of the reasons why there's some of this fear in the market. All right, guys. So take it day by day. I think for now, be as nimble as possible, and and then also if you're looking at some swing type trades, partial positions for now until we kind of get through this. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.